It's such a coincidence that Joy isn't here today, and it's the day of Turton back time.
If I could turn back time.
I am chagrined. Okay, here goes nothing. October 28, in 1890, Nature magazine published the first article advocating the use of fingerprinting as identification. Now, they'd been used as far back as like the Babylonian Empire under Hammurabi, but this was the first article suggesting this use. Interestingly enough, it is said that the first time a fingerprint was used to convict someone was right at the Branson Scenic Railroad Station.
Really?
It's still there, yes. Jake Flegel of the Flegel Gang was tracked down after leaving a single fingerprint in a car of a doctor he had murdered. Oh. He was gunned down after a shootout with authorities. Right there, you can see the depot, you can catch a train there. He died 24 hours later.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah. A happy birthday in 1914 to Jonas Edward Salk, American physician who discovered polio vaccine in 1953, saving thousands from the crippling diseases. In 1952 alone, polio paralyzed 21,000 people and killed 3,100. Happy birthday, 1902 to Elsa Lanchester, English singer and actress. The Bride of Frankenstein was one of the things she's most known for, back in 1935. October 29, 1945, first U.S.-made ballpoint pen goes on sale at Gimbel's in New York. $12.50 a piece, 10,000 were sold on the first day. In 1904, German-American gymnast George Iser, the man in the middle there, wins 6 Olympic medals in a single day. 3 gold, the parallel bars, long horse vault, and 25-foot rope climb. 2 silver, the pommel horse and 4 event all-around, and 1 bronze, the horizontal bar. What makes this more astounding is the fact that he had 1 leg and he wore a wooden prosthesis.
Wow, and look at those dress pants they did that in.
Yep. Okay, happy birthday in 1891 to Fanny Brice, American actress, singer, dancer. She starred in the Ziegfeld Follies from 1920 to 1923. Her life was the basis for the musical Funny Girl.
Aww.
That's her. October 30th, 1938, Orson Welles panics the nation with his radio adaptation of The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. It was broadcast in the style of an ongoing news event, and many people missed the opening disclaimer and believed there was an actual invasion. People panicked. A happy birthday, 1735, to John Adams, first U.S. president, first U.S. vice president, second U.S. president, father of John Quincy Adams, who was the 6th U.S. president. Both he and Thomas Jefferson died on the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Both died on July 5th, 4th, yeah. October 31st, 31st, in 1941, Mount Rushmore is completed. Work began in 1927 by sculptor Gutzon Borglum, who died in March of that year, and this was all finished by his son.
I will never understand how they did that.
Yeah, and they were supposed to be more full body, wow. not just the heads and shoulders. Happy birthday in 1829 to Joseph Wilson Swan, English inventor known for his development of dry photographic plates. He also invented a carbon element light in 1860, which was the basis for Thomas Edison's light bulb 20 years later. In fact, Swan patented his incandescent light in 1879, a year before Edison patented his.
We don't ever talk about that.
No. Oh, a happy birthday in 1912 to Dale Evans. Her name was Frances Butts. Dale Evans works much better. American actress, cowgirl, and partner of Roy Rogers.
So precious.
Yeah. November 1st. In 1512, Michelangelo unveils his masterpiece on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican. He had begun working on it in 1508. That's a lot of time laying on his back.
Absolutely.
In 1895, the first paid film screening, the Griffo Barnett Prize boxing match, is shown to a paying audience in a store on Lower Broadway in New York. Again, this was a film, not a movie. That screening took place the following month. Happy birthday to Andrzej Tchaikovsky, Polish composer and pianist. Upon his death in 1982, he donated his skull to the Royal Shakespeare Company to be used as a stage prop. Although used in rehearsals, it wasn't used in a performance until 2008 production of Hamlet. And finally, this, according to a 2014 survey by Christian retailer Lifeway in Nashville, 7% of Christian Americans pray for what?
Better health.
Nope. A parking space. And that does it for this edition of Turton Back Time.
That doesn't work.
If I could turn back time.